Yeah.
TikTok does.
The Tic Tac?
Have you seen the terms and conditions for TikTok?
I have not.
The shit they have access to. They can monitor your keyboard swipe pattern. They have access to your microphone, whether it's on or off.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Boy,
It's China.
They're gonna hear some interesting things.
It's China data mining to a T, disguised as social media.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's right in their terms and conditions,
shit
too.
they must hear.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? Like, why would you want to hear that?
I don't know. Why? Data mining? I don't know.
I guess.
I don't know what they get out of that, because most of the shit they're going to get is like, I'm going to clap my ass cheeks together.
You know, they get a lot of guys masturbating. Oh, here's this asshole. He's fapping again. Speaking of which, how's your bing bong? How's that bing bong in your pants?
I've ignored it for years now.
Yeah? Well, how about I start paying attention to it?
That burnt.
Oh, what is it?
I know, I mean, what you just said.
Well, it's going to burn.
Oh, that's coffee.
It's going to burn, baby.
Oh, God. Is that why you were gone for so long?
It has not been 4 months this time.
No, it's been 2 weeks.
It hasn't even been 4 weeks.
No, it's been 2 weeks.
It's been 4 minutes since I've last watched through your window. Time travel.
Did you get...
Space-time continuum.
It's been so long, I forgot how to work my chair. There we go.
It's not a chair. That's actually
remember.
me sitting underneath you.
If I'm on all fours, do I constitute as a chair? Because...
Anything's a chair if you try hard enough. It's true.
You know, I suppose that's true. Because a chair is just a body with 4 legs.
Yeah.
A cow is a chair.
But I mean, could you consider a chair like a curb if you're sitting on it? Or a fence? I don't know why you said on a fence, though.
You just don't know what a chair is, so you're on the fence about it.
I'm on the fence about this whole podcast. Maybe I should go home. So what's up, dude?
Oh, talk about chairs. Talk about steel chairs.
You know,
which is what's in AEW fucking constantly.
Wow.
Steel
what
chairs.
A transition.
And you know what else is in AEW constantly? I'm starting to notice.
What?
The more... You know what? All right. First off, Drew McIntyre's sort of pipe bomb.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, it was really good.
I actually saw that.
With KO.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really good.
Actually, the back and forth between the
There was a whole bunch.
It was tremendous.
They said wrestlers wrestle.
Yeah.
Right there, I'm like, okay.
Triple H is in charge.
Yeah, we're going down a good path here.
Yeah.
They're wrestlers again.
And now we got the prize fighter back, which that was like my favorite version of KO.
Right.
Might have been Drew's best promo I've seen in... Yeah. See you later.
I've done this already.
It's only like 3 minutes.
I got sick of this. But that's not a thing you see a lot in the WWE is when they just kind of go off the cuff like that. And
I think that was, they obviously they have their bullet points, but I think they're letting them go.
like the Attitude Era again.
Yeah.
And they just kind of go, which would be fantastic. Look, this worked. We were getting they were having. I mean, granted, I don't think you're going to get those ratings ever again.
No, it's not with the way the world works now.
No, not with streaming and everything else.
Media,
it just doesn't.
It doesn't work that way.
Back then, they were getting ratings that were rivaling NASCAR, which back then, I don't know if it still is.
The main event.
NASCAR was bigger than NFL, MLB, bigger than it all.
In football's heydays, like it was competitive,
and that's raw.
With that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With Monday Night Football.
They were getting ratings. They were not consistently. Like most are consistent.
In their best, like 7s. You know what I mean?
There was a couple 8s in there.
I know.
I mean, they were just monster ratings.
Insanity.
I mean, I remember going to school.
They're lucky if they pop a 2, right? Like now.
Yeah, now they're hitting lows of like 1.3, 1.2.
And AEW, their shows sometimes don't even reach that.
No. Well, what I was gonna say with the Drew McIntyre thing, then like right about the same time this last week, a lot of people online were talking about CM Punk and Eddie Kingston. Yeah. Like that. And then there was another promo with CM Punk. Who the hell was it? Oh, Jon Moxley.
Oh, the new one. And now you see the new news coming out about that, right?
No.
Surprise.
Oh, it's split saying this
CM
locker room.
Punk's difficult. Oh, shit. Yeah. Also, you know what? Water's wet.
Yeah.
Fool me once, CM Punk.
Here's the thing,
That's it.
when WWE does it, it feels like kind of eye-catching. It's like, oh, wow, shit. But it seems like AEW does it all the fucking time.
Because everything they do, and don't get me wrong, I kind of like AEW, but every time they do it, they always have to take pot shots at WWE, and it's like, what are you doing?
That too. There's constant
yourself.
subtle name drops.
Always.
Yeah, you're the second best Kingston, and you're the second or third best Eddie, or whatever the fuck.
And then he what he said to Moxley, he said,
yeah,
you're the third best
in your group,
and it seems to be a reoccurring theme for you. Like, okay, we get it. You miss it.
Yeah,
we get it.
Yeah, but they do it all the time.
But like, if you're led to believe all of the backstage shit that you see on the news, then I guess CM Punk has divided the locker room.
I did hear that
because it was the Page thing, right? The Adam Page, and I guess what they're saying is he was pissed off. Punk was pronouns. He was pissed off because he said something that alluded to when they were in their feud, alluding to the Colt Cabana incident. So, he cried like a baby, and now Colt Cabana's been fired.
Right.
Or at least his Tony Khan's too much of a baby to fire people, so he lets their contract expire. He doesn't wish them best in their future endeavors.
McMahon does that, or McMahon
Who?
Words, James. Words.
Who? Are you tired?
McMahon used to do that. That's been the whole fucking day today.
Slug that coffee, pal. You slug that, and I'll slug this.
I'm gonna have
not
to.
Sponsored by energy drink.
I slug this, I'm going to burn my mouth.
It'll be the first time.
And the sores.
Open wounds in your mouth.
Yeah, McMahon.
Wow.
It still cracks me up that he let What's-Her-Face's... I can't even remember the wrestler. What's-Her-Face's contract expire after he got a blowjob from her.
Oh, yeah. Who was it, though?
I can't remember.
I thought it was...
I'll look it up.
Yeah, that would be interesting to remember who that was. But in the meantime, it does just feel like you said, when WWE has these more realistic promos, you notice it.
Because it's not overplayed and outdone.
No, and also maybe it's also an indictment on them because a lot of their promos in the past have been so cookie cutter and obviously scripted and almost really phony sounding. Like things that most people wouldn't actually really say. Like when you're about to fight them.
When's it? Oh, well, this is Vince McMahon net worth $2.5 billion. Anyway.
Still?
Yeah.
About $1 billion that's been going to his broads.
For now. But, yeah, and he, whenever they cut promos like that, like I said, it's like, it's like once every 3, 4, 5 months.
Yeah,
where
something really jumps out.
Yeah, really in the last year, that's the first time that's really kind of happened.
Unless it's like Cena coming back, because
there's a few that get their, like Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, they get their freedom.
Roman
now, he does.
Yeah.
But Cena, every time he comes back now, he's going to cut some fucking shit. He's one of the best promo guys ever, whether you like it or not.
Oh my God, he is.
Whether you like it or not.
I remember for 10 years or so when he was in wrestling, I could not fucking stand Cena.
I really learned to appreciate
Then he got out of wrestling, and you look at him and it's like, good job.
He actually really won me over during the U.S. Open, and he got better. I think I've said that to you before, even on this show. But just in general, just that whole, he heard the fans say, you can't wrestle, and he's like, you know what? I hear you. And his matches started killing it.
Right.
AJ Styles, KO,
because
Cesaro. The opponents were good. Daniel Bryan.
Following the old kind of cookie cutter, cut and paste style of Goldberg and not even Stone Cold, but
and why not?
Goldberg.
He's a top guy. Why not do that?
Ultimate Warrior and Hogan, where you can count your moveset on both your hands.
But out of all those guys you just mentioned, which one of them pushing 40 tried to get better in the ring? 0. Cena did. So that's why I respect the dude.
Yeah.
And he put on some great matches. I mean, even with CM Punk, they got a not that it really whatever it means, but they got a 5-star rating once.
Who did he get it with?
He got it with Punk.
Oh, did he?
I think it was the it was probably the Money in the Bank match when Punk was like, I'm leaving, and he took the belt with him because he was crying then too.
Oh, that was in.
Speaking of the CM Punk, I saw something funny today. Remember when he was feuding with Triple H and they had those back and forth promos?
That was back in like 2012,
maybe. Yeah, it was like real heated.
2012, yeah.
Real heated promos.
That was right before Punk left.
I saw a funny ass meme today. It said, Triple H's promos against CM Punk are really starting to age well. Because he was right. He was kind of right back then.
What's been circulating a lot on, especially TikTok, is the shoot promo with Triple H.
Yeah.
And CM Punk. Is that the one you talked about? Where he's cutting him down. It's like, you want everything to change as long as you're on top and shit like
exactly.
that.
Exactly. Yeah. It's really aging well. Like, was Triple H really wrong then? Even though
he wasn't.
We all wanted him to be wrong because we were all. I think the world was like enamored by this rise of CM Punk.
Yeah.
But at the time, it's almost like the rebel.
Hindsight is 20/20.
Right.
Yeah.
But like the rebel, like younger guy in me wanted Punk to be the man.
Yeah.
But now that I'm older and wiser, I'm like, damn.
What a fucking bitch.
What a bitch.
Yeah.
He was like, cry. Because he even said in that promo, I watched it today actually, just to kind of refresh my memory with everything going on. Triple H said something to him to the extent of, you cried for 6 years about why not me, but you never had the fans.
Right.
And we both know that.
Yeah.
He's right. He was always right. Shout out to Triple H. I know you're watching.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, right.
We got Ranger Danger. Why not have Triple H too?
You know what? He loves us.
That's what Joe Rogan says. Sometimes it's not how many people are watching; it's who's watching.
Who's you watching? That's right.
Yeah.
Ranger Danger. We love you, bro.
I thought about asking him. Like, shoot, he's right up in Gloversville.
How'd you find the show?
Yeah, I'm like, why?
Why us?
Yeah, why? We say, like me and Charlie say all the time, like, don't fucking watch us.
I can guarantee you one thing's for sure.
What?
It's not because of Charlie.
Actually, the trucker community loves Charlie.
Do they?
Yes.
Well,
my uncle says that. It's like, we fucking love that kid.
Charlie's no. I like to shout out him, but edit this out. Charlie's a good guy.
I'll censor it.
Yeah, thank you.
How dare you say that, dude? I can't put that on here now.
I'm sorry.
It'll
sorry.
just be a big beep and
that'd be perfect. Radio edit.
I'm looking for the name. Payments were made to 4 women who were formerly associated with WWE, including former paralegal.
I love your evil laugh every time you read this.
Because it's fucking hilarious.
I think I can just see him do it, like paying the check to the women.
You know what's funny? Like, he spends all these years building this thing up to this beast, mammoth company, just for him to go and fizzle right out. Like, oh.
Yeah, seriously.
Dude.
Just to get literally his rocks off.
It doesn't
tremendous,
say.
Just tremendous.
Including the former paralegal and former wrestler who alleged that McMahon had coerced her into performing oral sex.
There was also, did you hear the one side story? It's not getting enough publicity, but the referee from like the late 80s.
Yeah.
He allegedly like forced her to give him oral sex.
Oh,
like forced her, like kind of like rapey, very rapey.
Wait, the referee?
The female referee, like the first one ever.
No, I heard, maybe I did hear that at some point, but I heard a male referee, something along the lines that he was sexually abused.
By Pat Patterson?
Yes, maybe that's
it was a ring boy.
Yeah.
No, I know it sounds terrible. But seriously, it was like a...
What the fuck's wrong with this company? Why do we love it so much?
Nothing?
So, how do you think it got so big?
That's not the right way to put that.
Damn it, I didn't even think about that.
This is really going off the rails.
This is great.
This is not great.
High quality entertainment. I didn't say material, I just said entertainment.
This is high quality wrestling entertainment.
This is the real behind the ring, or behind the ropes, or behind the fucking curtain.
I like that you're almost like a mutant right now and you're not on your game. This makes it even more fun. You look demented.
Do I?
A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean that in the best way.
All right. Well, yeah, I don't
listen to you. Are you dying?
Probably.
Get your shit together. Sit up. Are you going back to being a bad moderator again? Remember that? I remember
those are the old days. Dude, I didn't even know what a fucking podcast was back then.
The show before the show.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. I didn't know what a fucking podcast was.
That's why we had to get Ty back.
I remember when Ty doesn't want to do... Well, I don't know what the...
We got to get him back. He always adds a level of mania to the show that I enjoy immensely.
He pushes boundaries a lot.
Well, I think that's what... Well, it's great, but it'll get you kicked off TikTok again.
Well, I'll just have to be kind of pick and choose what exactly.
A good editor.
Instead of getting like 15 or 20 clips, I'll get 6.
A good editor.
Yeah. I think I can
You said
do it.
something a little earlier about the streaming thing, right? So I also read something that there's possibility, it could be just rumor mill stuff, but a possibility that Netflix might be interested in buying WWE at some point.
I heard that a while ago.
Yeah, isn't that crazy if you think about it? Like they'll just stream the episode. I mean, it makes sense, I guess. But do you live stream it?
Netflix.
Can Netflix live stream like
You
that?
want to know why? Because Netflix is fucking suffering.
Yeah, so that'd be something for them. That would be a shot.
Yeah,
in
they
the
are
arm.
suffering right now.
But can they? I mean, does Netflix? Can they? Maybe I'm an idiot, but do they? Well, I am an idiot, but can they? Don't just so readily agree to that.
Oh.
Can they? Can they or do they live stream? I don't know of that. I've never seen it.
I don't think so. Unless it's don't they have like a premium service or something now?
Yeah, we'll have to pay more for it, right?
Yeah, it's like fucking $20 a month.
Fucking assholes. Fuck you, Netflix. I'll still
Seriously.
watch your shows though.
The only one I'm watching, and I'm suffering through it right now, is the second season of Stranger Things. Like, you were right when you said the second season was slower.
Get through it.
There's been a couple
They'll pay
times
it
like,
off.
I don't want to.
They'll pay you off. 3 and 4 are great. 4 was tremendous. I told you that already.
Yeah. But yeah, aside from that, I don't really care about Netflix. But I don't. As far as WWE going to Netflix or being bought by Netflix, I could see them being bought by Netflix just for that fact of their suffering.
Yeah.
But how would they do it?
I suppose like any other streaming service like Hulu,
Yeah,
where they
'cause
have the live TV version.
They're right now they're on not HBO. What's the other one? There's so many fucking streaming services.
That would cost like a
they're on
tremendous
Hulu.
amount of money to get to that point for them.
Yeah, I don't know.
You are right though. I do feel like I think they are suffering because they're getting left behind. Remember where they were like the first game in town? That was like 10, 12
Yeah, that's
years
what I said.
ago.
It was like Netflix and Amazon Prime, and
Remember
that was
when
it.
they were just like Netflix was like that thing where they delivered to your house before it was actually
Yes.
before it was actually like a streaming
Yeah,
service.
it was like Redbox.
Yeah, it was
that
like
kind of
Redbox,
thing.
but it would get delivered.
Yeah, and then you'd send it back, and then oh shit, we could stream this, and then that kind of went the way of the
I still
dinosaur.
fucks with some Redbox. Wait. Hey, what's blood between friends? You know what I mean? What are we talking about?
Talking about Vince McMahon paying out
Right on my chest.
for
like,
women.
Right on my chest like war paint, baby. Exactly.
But I can't find who the actual women were, 'cause all these are from the early July, all these articles. So I don't know who the actual woman. I didn't know it was 4 women, though. I did hear 2, but for me, it's updated to 4, and one of them was a paralegal.
The paralegal, I think I told you about. That's the main one.
Like, how the fuck do you...
I'm an insider.
No, if you're going to do that, one, the fact that he demoted the one broad and didn't renew her contract.
Didn't I tell you the
Like,
story
how
of the
the fuck
paralegal last time? He hired her for this exorbitant amount of money.
Listen, I have this one girl that's going to rat me out for making a...
$100,000 he paid her for a paralegal. Like, that's not what you make, generally speaking. And then he starts hooking up with her. He's like, all right, I'll give her $200,000 a year. And then he passes her off to Johnny Ace. And then he fires her.
He passes her off. Like, where's the feminist group there? Like, what
a G.
We're not an object. It's like, well, this is good shit.
But like, if she was like requesting the money, isn't there a level of like extortion there too? Maybe that's why the feminists aren't coming for that.
You did this to yourself.
Well, she did kind of extort him. Is that a bad take?
Yeah, now it's actually like a serious matter. Wait, you fucking bitch.
Wait, it wasn't serious before?
No, it was funny before.
You are demented.
Poor Granddaddy McMahon.
The granddaddy of them all.
He's a special character, though.
Such good shit, pal.
Yeah, but he's no longer there now, I guess, so it doesn't really matter. But that's why we're getting the promos that we're getting now, which is what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Let's circle back, as Jen Psaki would say.
might be a good idea.
Yeah. So, let me get off this, because I'm just going to laugh the more I read.
Yeah, I don't think people want to listen to you laugh for an hour.
During one of the segments on last week's Raw, there's a lot of people saying, there's rumors, one, of Bray Wyatt.
Yep.
And then there's a lot of people saying that was his arm during I think it was Austin Theory and someone else squabble backstage.
That wasn't one of the Dexter Lumis things, was it?
I don't know. No, I don't think so. It was
because they've been doing all those little funky things in the
Yeah.
background, backstage, like little subtle things that make you think. But it's always been Dexter Lumis.
But this is real.
And they might tie that because Austin Theory and Dexter Lumis were like tag team partners.
Well, what they were talking about was it was a really quick shot of an arm, and if you look at it, it kind of it's like when you know a wrestler, it's like, that's him, that's his arm. It kind of looks like Bray Wyatt's arm.
I think it's almost a foregone conclusion. Right. I mean, how dumb would they be now not to bring
Seriously.
Him? But I think he's got to come back as something other than the Fiend. That's played out.
Yeah, and it sucks because that was kind of fumbled.
Yeah,
like in a big way,
tremendously
on the 5-yard line.
How many people did he job to?
Everyone.
As the Fiend when he was over.
He fucking jobbed to what's her face?
Oh, Alexa Bliss.
Yes.
They were like, you know what? We don't need you. She's going to take your gimmick.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
His gimmick job to another one.
Sidebar, though, I will say, I think she's a tremendous actress. I don't know about her as a wrestler. I think she could be in horror movies. She's pretty good.
That's not taking anything away from Alexa Bliss.
No, she's a great actress.
I love Alexa Bliss.
Yeah.
But just the fact that Bray came out with this fantastic thing, and it ran its course.
And then they gave it to someone else.
It didn't even run its course. It was forced down this weird path of I'm going to get beat by everybody, and then
to
everybody,
Rollins to Goldberg to there was somebody else in there. I know that. Oh, Randy Orton. There you go.
Goldberg, Orton, which
that's what I was reading that that's what pissed him off the most was basically leading up to WrestleMania when he faced Orton.
Yes,
he was in the books to win, and they're just like, you know what, we're going to change it like the day before. And he didn't even know until he got there.
I guess the whole story is because he was very protective of his character to McMahon and very outspoken to McMahon. So leading up to WrestleMania, he was supposed to win. McMahon changed it on him last minute, like you said. And then after the fact said, well, he's very difficult to work with. And then when they released him, that's the reasoning they said they released him, is because he's very difficult to work with.
Yeah.
Only because he was so protective of his character.
I think is like every time he'd come in to like argue with Vince McMahon, he was just pissed because he was trying to get a BJ Tanner under his desk. And and fucking Bray was always like cock blocking him, you know? At least that's my revisionist
You're fucking bringing it back there now, not me.
Revisionist history. BJ Tanner.
Imagine if
Blowhouse.
Vicky Guerrero under there.
Excuse me. all right. You good? Let's not.
But that's the reason
I'm sure she's a wonderful lady.
That's the reason that. Actually, she's really nice, but
that's what they say. Yeah.
That's the reason that WWE released when they released him.
Yeah.
As he was very difficult to work with, probably to take the heat off McMahon or whoever else.
It's kind of crazy. Plus, he was making so much money, so he was in the $1 million contract deals. So it's kind of funny.
But it's like, why would they didn't even do anything? He's the most expensive jobber of all fucking time.
Exactly. But he was making like a ton of money, and generating a ton of money too. But they caught him. Maybe it's because they had to trim that contract for another woman. Who knows?
I see Alexa Bliss is still carrying around that stupid fucking.
Yeah, they got it. She's got to ditch that. What the hell?
It's just because I guess it's a hot seller.
Yeah, like the Cena shirts, and that's why it doesn't go heel.
Yeah, it's such a hot seller. It's like,
or even better, the Cena spinner belt.
You're gonna have that's a really polarized belt in the belt collecting community
because it's awful.
There's like me. There's people like me that can't stand it, but then there's a whole bunch of people that
really.
I think mostly because
universally hated it
for a while in the belt collecting community. For a while, it wasn't made anymore.
Yeah.
So it was heavily sought after for the people that just look for really rare belts.
Yeah.
But now they started making it again. So now it's interesting to see where it goes. I actually started thinking about there's a few sets of plates.
All the younger guys that were like almost kids during that era and now loving it again.
Probably.
Now that they can afford to buy them.
That's actually
probably accurate, right?
Yeah. There's a few sets of plates I want to get. Another Winged Eagle, another Andre 87, another JCW.
Yep.
One that I had. I think
Winged Eagle, the best.
few of those are for sale. I'm going to keep the JCW, but the other two will probably end up selling.
Winged Eagle to me is the best of all time.
The Undisputed.
You don't get enough of that on camera.
No, I don't. I don't think it's
that magical
ever been on
situation you got going on out there. I can only describe it to you.
It's a lot of belts, wrestling belts. Maybe one day I'll.
Authentic, even.
Yeah.
He actually beat Hogan for that belt back in '88.
Which one?
The Hogan belt.
No, I beat him for the big green.
The big green.
Yeah, 1984. Right out of the womb. Came out of the womb. I was like, fuck you, Hogan.
And I beat AJ Styles for that TNA belt, and I gave it to him.
Which one?
The top one.
Oh, there's two top ones.
Top middle.
Oh, okay. Yep, that's the...
What a disservice we're doing right now to the
I know,
people that are like either watching.
Okay, so there's a Midwest title, which is that one, and then there's the Wildcat title, which is that one, the big one.
You're a wildcat. Wow. What a wrestling podcast we're doing right now. It's probably the worst one of all time.
What are you talking about? Just the segment on Vince McMahon is stupid fucking...
What else we got going on in the wrestling world? Triple H is doing good.
Goldberg's back again.
Is he really?
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
He was on TV?
Yes. They
No way.
brought him out, I think it was Raw, this past Raw.
Fuck that.
They had, it was a segment with Miz on Miz TV talking about, oh, before I go into that, you know what I noticed on Miz TV? They don't inject crowd noise anymore.
No, do they? They don't.
No, because when it's quiet, it's quiet.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
Maybe Triple H didn't ever like that shit.
Who the fuck? What?
Yeah.
Because how the hell is anybody going to know what they actually like? Because it's notorious. Most people are going to go along with what everybody else does.
Yeah.
I mean, they've done studies like that on Facebook and everything else.
Right.
I've talked about this before on the show.
Like the lemming philosophy.
Yeah, they've had the two pictures, one with like 5 likes and one with like 1,000 likes.
Yeah.
And it's the exact same picture. And they've put it out there and let it circulate. And the one with very little likes has very little traffic. And the other one gets a shit ton of traffic.
Right. Bunch of shares.
Just because it's all a bunch of people already. But same idea with wrestling.
Also, with that being said, I think there's also an algorithm to that. Like, it just keeps, because of the shares and the likes, it gets repopulated to like your common interests and then goes to your page. You know what I mean? There's a lot of algorithms with these things. It's like advertising. Smart bastards.
But with wrestling, if you just put, like, one, have you ever been to a wrestling show where everyone's just off the wall from start to finish? Like, there's no low point. Well, that's not a pay-per-view or anything like that.
Maybe, if I can think of one, maybe the last original ECW pay-per-view. But that's not fair because it was the last actual, was it Guilty as Charged 2001? I was there at the Hammerstein. And it was off the chain from beginning to end.
Yeah, but I think...
But that's an unfair comparison
that's
we all knew it was all over.
Rare things.
And rabid fan base.
Yeah.
But you're right. There's always a lull. There's always a... they call them the let me down match.
Yeah, it's a cool down. Go fill the chip bowl.
Let me up, let me down, whatever it's called.
This fill the chip bowl match.
Yeah, go take a piss match.
Yeah. But you don't have constant like chanting and everything from start to finish. Unless it's like WrestleMania or so. Even at WrestleMania,
no, you get your lulls in Mania too.
Yeah. That doesn't normally happen. I noticed at this Miz TV, they had Dolph Ziggler come out, which I hadn't paid attention to Miz and Dolph. And
Dolph hasn't been around. They just, because Triple H likes him, he brought him back.
He came back, and Dolph's a heel now, and Miz is a face, which fucking confused me. I'm like, the last time I saw these two...
I'm not so sure Miz is a face.
The way he was talking, the way the fans were interacting with him, and the way the fans were interacting with Dolph is a heel. Miz is a face.
Well, what I like about the situation is the benefactor of all of this is my boy Ciampa. Because, he rolls with Miz now. And Triple H loves Ciampa, so he's got him in the... He even had a U.S. title match recently.
Here's the really... this is like a mishmash. This almost seems Vince McMahonian.
Manian?
So they had Miz out there. Dolph came out, cutting their promo. And I guess Miz has a friendship now with Shawn Michaels. Yeah, so Michaels is out there with Miz, and they're cutting a promo. Well, I guess the week before, Miz superkicked Shawn Michaels, so Dolph came out, signed this contract.
I missed all of this.
Yeah, Dolph came out, signed the contract for what, SummerSlam or whatever the fuck coming up. Or no, not Summer. What's the next one coming out? Clash or the night?
Yeah, Clash at the Castle.
Yeah, that's right. So they come out. Dolph signs a contract for apparently Miz and Dolph at the match. It's not for Miz. Miz goes, you get ahead of yourself. You sign the contract. You didn't read the fine print at the bottom of the contract. It's not me. You're not facing me at the next pay-per-view. You're facing someone else. And he looks at Shawn Michaels. And Shawn just like stares at him. And he walks up to him with a microphone. And he goes, it's not me. And then Miz is behind Shawn. He does this. And then Goldberg's music hits. It's the weirdest fucking thing.
Wait a minute. Didn't they already wrestle each other?
None of that fucking made sense to me.
But
they have Miz and Dolph. Their roles are reversed. Shawn Michaels is friends with Miz now. And then Goldberg comes out. It's like, well, how does any of these...
Where was Ciampa?
These pieces don't fucking fit together.
And also...
None of these pieces
Dolph
fit together.
Ziggler already wrestled Goldberg at SummerSlam.
I don't understand any of this.
I'm baffled.
I really don't understand any of it.
Speaking of Shawn Michaels, did you see the news about him?
No.
He just got promoted to Vice President of Creative Relations, or I don't know, whatever.
Is that good or bad? Because I don't know how much influence Michaels has backstage.
And I don't know how much, and he's my favorite, but I don't know how much of a creative guy he was. He was the best in-ring, but was he really, and he could work a match, make a match, probably develop characters, but if he's a part of creative in general, was he really like that guy? I know Triple H was. Scott Hall was.
Right.
But was he? I'm not so sure, but I guess we'll find out.
You know what? Just like Scott Hall, Triple H, and all those guys. I saw a video of Road Dogg talking about his drug problems and going to AA.
Yeah.
You know who Road Dogg sounds like now? Almost to a T.
Oh, no. Who?
He sounds like fucking Alex Jones.
Oh, no.
He sounds like...
you mean like his vocal?
Yes. Like, he sounds almost...
So now I got to do like a side-by-side.
I listen to him and I'm like, wow. He sounds
weird.
like Alex Jones.
That's weird.
But yeah, they were just talking about... It was clips of Sean Waltman and like that whole group all having their drug problems.
Was it that show,
I don't know what show it was. I just saw a clip of
DX
it.
behind the...
Maybe.
People.
I mean, it was...
Dudes. Guys.
Behind the people.
Behind the degenerates.
Behind the D.
Behind the D. There you go.
That's going to sell.
I'm going to give you something behind the D.
And the D stands for drugs.
A lot of them.
See? That'll sell. Yeah, but I just noticed this is a sidebar. It sounds like Alex Jones.
I feel like you're like high or drunk, or tired.
Maybe. I was up at 1 o'clock this morning.
And you never went back to sleep?
No, I did for a couple hours.
Why did you get up at 1?
All this week lately.
I wouldn't recommend that.
All this week lately, I've been going to bed. I've been falling asleep at like 10. And not last night, the night before, I woke up and I thought it was like 4:30 or so, because that's usually when I wake up, 4:35. I woke up and I felt kind of drowsy, like I normally do before work. I'm like, oh, what the fuck, or just whatever. And I roll over and I look at my watch, and it's 12:08. I'm like, the fuck? How is it? It's only been 2 hours?
All them somas you taken.
But then I was like, all right, well, that's good. That means I got like 4 more hours to go.
That's always the best feeling, right?
Yeah.
You wake up and it's a lot earlier than you think it is, and you can sleep longer.
But I've been doing that a lot lately. Just not... Well, not that it's not great sleep. Like, no matter... I only sleep like 6 hours, 5.5 to 6 hours.
Drink a bottle of NyQuil before bed.
I sleep like 4 solid hours, and I wake up drowsy. It's horrible. Melatonin's the exact same thing.
Melatonin never works for me.
It does the same thing for me. I go to bed and I fall asleep hard, but then I wake up just drowsy.
Yeah.
I hate that. Just kind of loopy.
Like, especially from like a NyQuil wake up, and you're feeling all groggy, and like you don't even come out of it for like an hour.
No.
I'm at work and like,
And finally, I get to work, and then I finally like sober up. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, here I am. This sucks. I want to go home.
No, but
you should get some rest. That's real good advice.
Thanks.
You really should get some sleep.
Hey, you look like shit. Why don't you sleep?
Dr. Miller.
You gonna be a doctor? You gonna be my doctor?
My prescription, sleep. Fuck you, Dr. Miller.
Sleeper hold.
Yeah. Another great transition.
Sleeper hold.
What else you got for me?
There's owl. There was actually something. Michael Jackson owl.
Ow!
Ow! I saw this. I'm like, oh, this would be a good one. I saw it. It might have been on Facebook or something. Is the Get Rid of 2?
Oh.
And I was like, oh man, I'm gonna have to do this. So it's Get Rid of 2 from Wrestling Timeline.
Okay.
So you have Hulk Hogan, Triple H, Bret Hart,
Wow.
Eddie Guerrero, The Rock, Ultimate Warrior, Randy Savage, John Cena, and Mick Foley.
That is not fair. Hogan first. See you later, Hogan. The rest of them. That's where it gets difficult. What did you already decide on your two?
I'm looking right now.
Oh, you haven't decided.
No. There's one I decided right off the bat as soon as I saw it.
Who's that?
Ultimate Warrior.
See, that would be the easy one to go to, but I have so many fond memories of being a kid.
I'm looking at it as like wrestling the business. Like,
yeah, as
who would have the worst, like, what would be the biggest impact if they were gone?
If you're looking at it like that, then I can understand why Warrior would have to be one of them. But then me and my cousin, my fond memories of being a kid and just, like, fucking idolizing the dude. I mean, he looked like a superhero.
Everyone, yeah. Like, I was always a Hogan person, but everyone
could it
remembers.
Could it be Eddie?
See, I don't know. It's...
Because he wasn't the most influential luchador, that'd be Ray.
I think
that sucks because I love Eddie Guerrero.
It does, and my initial second pick was Bret Hart for the same reason of Ultimate Warrior. Everyone knew Bret Hart, but the fact of the matter is when he was on top, wrestling was in the fucking gutter.
Except that he still was a higher draw than Shawn and Diesel.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
He was. It's just a fact. And then if you also put it like, furthermore, he's definitely a higher draw than any of the Miz's of the world.
Then I guess it would have to be Eddie Guerrero.
I know.
Because when Eddie was in there, WCW and WWF, there were so many other names around him.
That hurts.
It wouldn't have made a difference whether he was there or not.
Ah, man. Wait, who were the other people?
Triple H, The Rock,
Well, you can't take out Triple H. You can't take out the... If we were to base it on influence, you absolutely can't take Triple H, The Rock, or Hogan out.
John Cena.
Or John Cena.
Macho Man would probably be the next in that line of, well, he can go.
I don't know. Man,
I love Macho Man.
Because he crossed over, too, though. The Slim Jims and all this other shit. Like, he was bigger than wrestling.
And Mick Foley. Like, to me, Mick Foley, John Cena, and Hogan...
That's so hard.
Mick Foley, John Cena, The Rock, and Hogan are the four that you can't get rid of.
Especially because Mick Foley made everybody.
Attitude Era, I think, he was one of the cornerstones of the Attitude Era.
And not only that,
because
he also made so many dudes. He made Triple H. He made Randy Orton. Yeah. He made Edge to a certain extent. He made them. Like, they didn't become main event superstars until Foley put him over.
Yeah.
And in epic fashion.
Yeah.
The Rock. You could even count Foley made him in a sense. Because his best feud
it was with Stone Cold and Mick Foley, like those two.
Well, but The Rock's first major league main event heavyweight champion feud was Foley.
Right.
And Foley made him look like $1 million. You're right. Foley's untouchable in this list.
Like,
plus, he was the quintessential hardcore.
Yeah, he brought the hardcore, like extreme bullshit.
It existed, but he's the one who mainstreamed it. So yeah, he's untouchable. Hogan, obviously, for being what he is.
I mean, yeah, Hogan was wrestling in the 80s into the 90s. And the way
Eddie. It's got to be Eddie.
The way Hogan transitioned himself into a heel was like the reinvention of into Hollywood.
It was insane. It was insane how he seamlessly.
Yeah.
So now, conversely, who would you do out of just personal?
Personal?
For me, Hogan comes to mind immediately because he's kind of a piece of shit.
If I could get rid of whoever, personal.
And Warrior wasn't really a great guy, I guess, but I still have that like fondness of him.
Honestly, I think my first choice would have been Bret Hart and Ultimate Warrior for personal.
Really?
Because I was never a Bret Hart fan.
See, I was Bret Hart. I loved him before I really became a Shawn Michaels fan. I was wrestling with my cousins as Bret Hart.
Not a super fan. Like I was,
or Macho.
He was a face when we were kids, so I obviously rooted for him. Except when Razor Ramon came in.
Yeah,
that was like the first. No, I can't even say that.
Let me see that again.
I was always
my personal. I hate to do it, but probably Cena.
Yeah.
Even though I think he's a tremendous human being, he's probably the best guy out of all of them. Like in real life.
Who said
You know what I mean? He's
right.
probably the best dude. Either him or The Rock seem like to be the most.
Yeah, because Macho Man's a fucking head case.
He always was.
Hogan's just a piece of shit.
Just overall, probably racist. He held people down. And then you got
his
Jim
stories.
Jim Hellwig was homophobic.
His stories alone. Hogan's stories. When I pressed Andre,
I'm wrong.
He weighed almost 700 pounds, and I cracked 4 vertebrae in my back because he slammed him.
I forgot to add Foley might be one of the best guys on there in real life too.
Yeah, he's got his fucking house has a room that's a Christmas room. It's a dedicated Christmas.
And every year he does these charitable things dressed as.
I'm a piece of shit because my room's dedicated to horror villains and everything. Foley has a Christmas room. He's the most grandpa-y non-grandpa ever.
So him and Cena are probably the two best dudes on there.
You know what I heard? Everyone was like, "Oh, John Cena's done the most Make-A-Wish Kids Foundation bullshit, whatever."
Bullshit. You're fuck them kids. Says a father.
Rey Mysterio has actually gone and said that's bullshit because we all have to meet that quota. We all have to do it.
Really?
John Cena's the one that's just put out there and is the face of the company to do it. And that's coming from Rey Mysterio. If it was fucking CM Punk saying it,
he also killed a guy. So can you really believe him? No, that's an interesting point, though. I'd like to see. Yeah, but all right, WWE wasn't there when fucking Cena went all the way over to fucking Finland or wherever it was recently.
What do you go for Finland for?
To a Make-A-Wish.
Oh, still doing it?
Yeah, he still does it all the time.
It's a weekend thing.
Yeah, just fucking. This. It was. I think the story. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe look it up. But a family that escaped Ukraine went to the Netherlands. That region.
Right.
And the kid was like, "No, I don't want to leave my home." She goes, "We're gonna meet John Cena just on a whim, just to get the kid to move."
Right.
John Cena caught wind of the story and actually fuck it. I'll just fly out there and meet the kid.
It's odd that he went to Ukraine. You remember when John Cena was apologizing to China in Mandarin?
Yeah. What a weird time.
Representing for.
What was that 2 years ago? That wasn't even that long ago.
That was for one of the Fast movies, I think.
Yeah, well, wasn't that long.
Yeah, it was a year and a half or so, maybe 2 years ago. Just because he recognized Taiwan as its own country and it pissed China off. And then he had to go and apologize. That was the weirdest fucking thing to watch.
It was so uncomfortable.
Wow, bought and paid for. Jeez.
Very uncomfortable. He looked uncomfortable.
Because he's probably going to get killed if he didn't do it. There's probably the Chinese. The CCP was right behind the camera.
Bop, bop, bop.
Yeah.
Snippy, snippy, choppy, choppy.
Yeah, Kai and Tai.
Always try to tie it back to wrestling.
Kai and Tai. Jeez Louise. Do you think we're going to get stuff like that again? You remember, all right, back in the Attitude Era, everyone remembers all the awesome stuff.
A lot of it was garbage.
There was a lot that was garbage. And not like today's garbage, where today's garbage is just unwatchable. Back then it was just garbage that was still entertaining. Yeah. But it was like watching a bad movie that's hilarious.
Mark Henry gives birth, or they have a hand for a child,
with Mae Young.
We got Triple H and Katie Vick, and we got a lot of
screwed your brains out.
We got a lot of bad things that Beaver cleavage. Just thinking of all the worst things.
Leave it to Beaver.
Yeah, come on, man. There was a lot of bad stuff.
Well, didn't the woman that played Beaver's mother in that wasn't she I
think she's dead now.
His okay,
surprise.
Wow. But I think back then, before he was Beaver Cleavage, or right after, because that didn't last that long, didn't she play his girlfriend or some shit like that?
Classic Oedipus
right complex. Right after she played, or right before, right after she played Beaver's mother. What the fuck is with that?
Probably
The Oddities.
Oh, you mean when he was Chaz?
Was that before or after?
Oh, yeah, maybe Chaz was after.
You remember Meat?
Meat. There's another good one. Meat.
It was like the Attitude Era of the gimmick era from 4 years prior.
Yeah.
Man Mountain Rock and
Brackus.
Bastion Booger. And,
Remember Brackus?
yes. Supposed to be something big.
He was something big.
A big flop.
A big pile of shit.
Yes.
I've always heard that, like, from anything, they bring him up on other shows, that he was a good dude, though.
Most of them probably are.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, most of the guys that fail in wrestling are probably really good
They're
guys.
probably too good for it.
Yeah, they're probably just really polite and be like,
Too
this is why
nice.
you're not going to get anywhere. I mean, Triple H's promo with CM Punk is the one that said, I'm going to tell you to your face, I'm going to walk all over you and just go right through you and then we're to get to the top. Most of the guys, like me, probably be like, hey, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
And then I end up going fucking jobbing out to...
And then you job out to me.
To Katie Vick.
Casket match.
Yeah. Oh, she's on top of me. I can't get up. One,
I
two,
can't.
3. Oh, I lost. And then I'm on Heat.
Yep. And then Velocity.
Yeah, and then Velocity. And then I just end up being a host on...
And then Superstars.
What was that one show that... Remember... This is back in like the early 2000s. Maybe late 90s, early 2000s. There was 2 late night shows on the weekends that were just highlight shows. I think one was actually called Velocity.
And then
maybe.
Velocity became actually a wrestling show.
Yeah. And then there was another one right after it. And I can't remember the name of that. Anyway, though, once I'm done jobbing out, I'll just end up one of the hosts on those like 11 p.m. shows where like, let's talk about what happened on Heat. Yeah.
Job Pettingill.
Yeah, that would be my name. Yeah. Job Pettingill. I just changed it. Pod Tettengill.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm doing here, a podcast. Yeah, that's what it'll be. It won't be a talk show anymore. It'll just be a podcast.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about what happened on AEW and Heat.
Oh, at least the podcast game is like what's popping, so.
Yeah, they keep going up. There's like a million more every 6 months.
It's getting oversaturated now.
I don't think so. Because if it's getting oversaturated...
Then we're doomed.
Well, no, then I'm getting decent traffic for oversaturation, so... Apparently we're fucking doing something right.
There's no traffic outside.
I think the point...
get out of here
I think
pretty
what you
easily.
have to do, and if you watch Joe Rogan, he's the number 1 in the world, so it kind of makes sense.
To watch him, yeah.
Well,
he's doing something right.
Yeah, and he says, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I just kind of... So I'm like,
Neither do we.
Yeah, perfect. That's why
we don't.
That's why it's starting to grow. Great.
We truly don't. We're just a couple of assholes talking about dumb shit.
Yeah. And sometimes...
Rich, how do you describe the podcast you feature on sometimes? Just a couple of assholes that talk about dumb shit.
That's the whole point of it. That's the whole point of it. That's what everyone wants now. They don't want news anchors. They don't want any bullshit
they want to have like some like
what's actually
levity to
happening
things.
and what do actual people think about it.
Yeah.
And here I am.
What else is going on in wrestling? Anything good?
I don't even know.
I don't follow it as closely as I used to. I try to look at like the news sites just to kind of keep up on like all the drama and all the dirt.
The biggest thing was the Vince McMahon thing. I really want to know what comes out of that.
Well, the most recent, that is the biggest news recently. That, and then like the branches that come off of that, like the Triple H stuff and all that.
Oh, there is one thing that Tony Khan said something about. He was talking about how the wrestlers not getting their time.
Yeah.
And he had some quote, I'm paraphrasing. He's like, well, when you only have 3 hours of television a week versus, 7 hours of television a week, WWE, it's hard to get all the guys their spots.
But he has more than that.
And so, how many hours does
He's
he have
also
a
got
week?
like his stupid, like dark TV on YouTube and all that other stuff.
He's probably just talking about straight what's
like
aired.
actual broadcast television.
Yeah, he's like, it's hard to compete with that. And then someone made a comment, it's like, well, maybe you should stop signing all the fucking talent out there. Because you're doing exactly what McMahon did. Yeah. He's did exactly
and not only that, but he pushes, like, you sign all these, like, guys that can be major players, and you never see them.
No.
And you see this Daniel Garcia.
And what fucking happened 2 years ago when McMahon was eating all this talent, or 3 years ago, when they were eating all this talent up, and you knew because he was signing so many people.
Yeah.
5, 6, 7 years before that, you would have saw the pickup of whoever it was be like, awesome. But you knew because it was just every week there was 1 or 2 more guys over and over and over locking them into these contracts. Be like, you're never gonna fucking see him. You're basically just taking him off the screen time for anybody.
I preface this by saying I think that Tony Khan's like, he comes across as a good guy, like pretty decent human being.
I hear he's a shit,
but oh my god, he has got to stop being in any interview ever. He is painful to listen to. Painful.
I think he's on a yak.
He's on.
He looks like he's on coke every time he comes up because he gets talking. His hair poofs out when he gets talking, and he goes wide-eyed.
Eating like 90 or 120 milligrams of Adderall every time he fucking like every hour. Like, dude is juiced to the gills.
That's his vitamin drip.
He's nuts.
He is.
He needs to slow down.
When I see Tony Khan and he's like. He obviously loves the business.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. He was a nerd like us. He's about roughly our age. He's just like us, except that he had $1 billion.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Pretty close.
If you take Tony Khan...
I can kick his ass.
If you take Tony... What if he kicks your... Anyway.
He can't kick my ass.
What if he did, though?
I'd kill myself. I'd never show my face in society again. You know what, Tony Khan? Fuck you. I'm going to fight you in real life one day.
Oh, yes.
Is that a threat that I'm not supposed to be doing?
I don't know.
I'm not... Well, yeah, I can kick your ass.
I take Tony Khan and Triple H, and I compare them. Both of them are like the same. They love the business. They absolutely adore it, and they obviously would do pretty much anything for it. The major difference, though, Tony Khan is a kid that basically is using his $1 billion to do a live version of us playing with our figures in the backyard. Awesome. Triple H is the business. He's been in it as a wrestler. He's been in it.
What do you hear about him? What's like the first thing you always hear? Student of the game.
Yeah, he's been in it like for the early age. Went up through like being a jobber, terrorizing.
Awesome.
Fuck. All the way to what he is now.
I was listening.
Basically running the company, like the big league game.
Dude, I was listening to Kevin
No pun
Nash's,
intended.
Show recently, and he said that terrorizing gimmick is the reason why they wanted him in the clique.
Oh yeah,
they would watch. They would like on Saturdays whenever they'd get around after whatever they were doing, they're traveling, and they would watch. They'd check in on WCW, and they would do it just specifically for him. Because they thought it was hilarious, I think, but also because they saw the talent. Right. Because if you look at Triple H back then, he could work.
Yeah,
he was actually a great worker. I remember watching this old match of him and Shawn Michaels in early WWF days. It was awesome.
Yeah, he was a great worker right through to, I'd say, the late 2000s.
Yeah, because, look at all his matches with Foley.
Yeah.
Those are some of the great matches you'll ever see.
I mean, Stone Cold and Triple H, when they were feuding back in '99. Like, it's just
him and Shawn Michaels when he came back.
Yeah.
Amazing. Just incredible. Some of his matches with The Rock were incredible, dude. I wanted them to go at it at Mania one last time. We didn't get that, though.
No.
But you're right. He is the business. I like how he always says, in this business.
Yeah.
It's like his favorite line.
In
this business.
It's like a movie trailer.
Triple H.
In the game.
The game.
Oh, here's another thing, too. Like, there were two references. It's the same line on two different shows. Both... I think it was Eddie Kingston who said it in AEW, maybe not. But both of the line was dropped, enough is enough and it's time for a change.
You're right. I did notice that.
So I think it was Eddie Kingston. I can't quite remember. I think it was Eddie Kingston. But it was definitely Kevin Owens.
Well, and his name is based off of Owen Hart.
Yeah.
That's where he got the Owens from.
But it was dropped twice in 1 week. I'm like, why? Why?
What show came out first?
I think Raw. It was on Raw.
So AEW biting again. Fucking biting again. Always biting. Always taking their shots.
I'm pretty sure Raw.
Why don't they want their own identity? Why do they have to do that?
Do they still pay attention to the wins and losses?
I thought that was what it was all supposed to be about, like a real sporting event.
Like
they'll put it on like the 48-2. It's like I've seen this guy on TV 3 times. What are you talking about?
Well, 48-2, that's fine. And if they're doing that, they're keeping like record. When does it turn over? Like a new season or whatever.
Yeah, wasn't that supposed to be what it was?
I don't know. I don't fucking know.
Maybe they gave up on that. It's like a running like lifetime total.
Maybe. But even so, what's the point? Like you said, we're going to pay attention to wins and losses. Why? Like, I never got that answer.
This guy's like 48-2 and like never had a title shot. What are you talking about?
Yeah, from the launch of the company, I never got an explanation of why are you keeping track.
I think that was like a Cody Rhodes thing. Like he said that he was the one who first broke that. We're gonna pay attention to wins and losses and make it matter. And then he left, and they're like, fuck this. We'll do it.
Yeah, wins, loss, whatever.
Like, hey, good talk, bro.
Now it's probably gonna be a troll thing. Like every week we'll keep changing their numbers, but sometimes we'll make them go backwards. See if anyone pays attention.
I find that, like, what they say is true about AEW. The worst thing about them is they're never going to grow their audience because all they're about is placating to the internet wrestling community. Like
right.
That 100,000 or like 1 million or so people that like their product
right.
will always be loyalists, but they're never going to get like the extra 1 million or 2 million, 3 million like WWE did with a major crossover star, because they're never going to get one because they're only placating and winking at the audience.
Right.
Like if you were, say you were like just a casual flipper on your TV and you saw these dudes doing these ballerina things and they're jumping all over the place and not selling anything and there's no storyline, or they're doing another blood match or whatever it is they're doing.
You literally have described me right now coming across AEW. That's exactly what it is.
And like, would that really catch you as a casual?
No, it's not.
You'd find
wrestling.
it absurd. You'd find it absurd.
No, it's not wrestling.
I want to see the selling, the story, the dramatics. I want to know why. I want to know why these guys hate each other. I don't want to like fucking watch.
It's like every week you tune in.
Circus du Soleil or whatever, I don't want to see that shit. Like, it's great. It's fantastic. I'd like to see it as a spot for one match. I don't need to see
a spot and a match, maybe two matches.
Dives in one match, and then 2,000 of them in one show. I don't need that. I don't need.
How many super kicks is it going to be?
I swear to God, like, you guys are really athletic, but
it's a drinking game. Super kick.
Can you cut a promo?
Game.
Can you bring me in? And they're never going to be able to grow the audience that way.
See, that's the one thing. Like AEW's, there's so many great athletes and everything in it now. But there's one thing that 70s and 80s wrestlers did way better, and that was able to hold a move and tell a story in a fucking headlock.
And get the fans just on their feet.
Yeah. And
on their feet.
Unless they're chanting holy shit or something. Or that's another thing is AEW has like a quota during their promos for every show.
Yeah.
We have to drop 12 shits.
I know. What is with that?
But it's like you said, they're just kind of winking at the crowds like, look, we're doing things that the other guys aren't doing.
Wasn't wrestling supposed to at least to some degree make you feel like it was real, even though we all knew it wasn't? I don't think AEW has any concern with making you feel like it's real.
The big thing with wrestling used to be, I sound like old guys now, but
well, we are.
Yeah, but the big thing is
we remember the 80s. We're old.
Well, the thing that wrestling used to be is they would have characters or story arcs anyway that would be relatable for the average Joe.
Right.
The biggest one, the most obvious one, is Stone Cold versus Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
The blue collar worker.
Employer versus the boss.
First, like fuck you. Everybody could relate to that.
It's like the simple but so impactful.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, fuck my boss. He is a cocksucker,
Yeah.
Or at least he's getting his cock sucked.
Yeah. But that was the relatable thing. I mean, what is relatable now? And I mean, I guess, actually to argue my own point, I guess you could, because now everything on the internet now is just people bitching about everything. And every time you turn in to AEW anyway, it's just one guy bitching to the other guy about something.
Well, I was watching AEW and like there's
I came off the streets and you didn't respect me. Fuck, man. Shut the fuck up.
They're backstage and it's like those the elite guys,
being the elite?
Young Bucks, which I think are really awful. But they're like crying to the other guys about, we used to be friends.
What? Like, wait, like in real life?
Like a backstage like interview on TV, on camera. Like this is their storyline. Remember when we were friends? Stone Cold would come and just punch you in the face and go, fuck you.
That's like they're like stealing that. They're stealing that from Riddle. Matt Riddle, bro.
But at least Riddle, he's just like fucking high. Fast Times at Ridgemont High shit.
Are they gonna acknowledge that finally?
I saw RVD come out recently say like, if they wanted me to come in, it'd be awesome to work with Riddle and we can be high bros. Fucking RVD never changed, homie. Never fucking changed, bro.
I'd be all right with that.
He's awesome. He's awesome forever.
He's old now, but I'd be all right with that. He's still out there in the circuit, isn't he?
He can still go. I mean, Riddle would have to be the one that does most of it, but
right. He could carry him,
He
protect
could
him.
still go. He's probably better than most of the guys now anyway.
Like Steen or Kevin Owens did with Stone Cold.
It was awesome.
Kept that.
That match was awesome.
That was fucking...
It was awesome.
I was kind of like, watching the match.
Did it get 1,000 stars in Japan? No, but it was fucking so good.
It was as good as it could be. It was better than I figured it was going to be.
Yeah.
Like,
me too.
I was
in. I was all in. I was sucked into that TV. I'm like, this is... I felt like I was 14 again.
Actually, both the WrestleMania, both nights were just really, really good.
The Cody Rhodes thing was amazing.
Yeah,
it's such a bummer he got hurt. Because he was really on all cylinders.
That's another one. Well, I'm talking about WrestleMania in a second, but just as another side note, Kenny Omega coming back.
Yeah, I saw that. I think he's overrated.
Yeah. He got all his... See, that's another Dave Meltzer, like...
I mean, Jesus.
I love these guys only because it's not McMahon, his product.
And only because these guys name moves after me and do all this. And because they love me and they jerk me off. Like,
see, he's like the McMahon of every other wrestling promotion.
The funny thing about Meltzer, who's, just so you guys know, blocked me on Twitter. What a fucking loser.
Hey, that's a badge of honor.
He did. He blocked me like a year or two ago.
Like, I've been banned a shit ton of times, but
no, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase. He didn't call me shit. He's a pussy. I called him a twat, and that he's a sensationalist journalist, and I went.
But he is.
I might have been tipsy, and I went at him.
Oh.
And then he didn't respond to me. He just blocked me. I went to go see if anybody like the next day did anybody comment, or did he see it? Did he respond? Because sometimes you can get him going, and it's just like a loser fan like me. And it said, Meltzer has blocked you. I'm like, yes, fuck this guy.
See, you're the typical AEW fan.
No, because they love Meltzer.
Do they really? How the fuck do you like Meltzer?
Because all he does is jerk off AEW.
All right, that makes sense.
He's like such a sycophant for it. He's become a parody of himself because
he's like, wasn't Meltzer supposed to be some wrestling purist?
He was, and he was.
How the fuck do you like AEW then?
He was a midlife crisis.
All right.
He has all these younger guys blowing him, so like he's like. He'll denounce. He used to be friends with a lot of the old timers.
What if that comes out in the future? Like Meltzer's in the sex scandal with all the roster of AEW.
He's on his knees blowing Kenny Omega.
No wonder why. He's like, how the fuck is
this? Is a 7-star blowjob.
Brooke Baker got 5 stars.
He's like in the Young Bucks. This is 7 stars.
It's only 3.5 piece. You got work to do.
Yeah. Keep going.
Anyway, back to WrestleMania. Yeah, Meltzer. That whole show was like really good. I was expecting it to be like the Hindenburg.
No, it was actually
tuned in
quite
like
good.
Because you saw the card, and you're like, how the fuck half this card is returning stars or not even wrestlers?
Yeah, and the non-wrestlers did great.
Pat McAfee,
and Logan Paul.
Well, I'll get to Logan Paul, but McAfee did really well. McAfee was a surprise. Then we already talked about the Stone Cold thing, which I pop hard for that. It's like everyone said like Stone Cold got the biggest reaction of the.
No shit.
Yeah.
No shit. He's still more over than anybody current.
That's something, but Logan Paul, like I told Charlie, because we did a quick rundown of just kind of notable things. Because Charlie's not big in like wrestling. Yeah. Logan Paul.
He's big in the truck stop community. He said though.
With those bunnies.
Speaking of blowjobs.
Logan Paul is a wrestler and he doesn't know it.
Oh, he definitely is. He's better. He's better than some of the guys now.
He knew how to work the crowd. He knew how to like.
Wait till he turns heel.
He's already fucking heel. When WrestleMania,
they're pushing him right now though as a face. They're trying to.
But he did the Eddie Guerrero like shimmy before he did a frog splash. I'm like, oh.
But the funny thing is, like, they're pushing him as a face.
How do you mess that? But he's such a
heel.
He'd be such a good heel.
He'd
be such a good heel
when the time is right.
Doesn't he have a numerous?
People want to see him get beat up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they do.
But it's got to be the right face, right? It's got to be the right guy at the right time.
And it's got to be the right time, like the right show, like not beat up on like.
And it's got to be a big star that everyone loves.
Castle of Champions or whatever the fuck the next pay per view is.
I don't know who that star would be.
It's gonna be Survivor Series, or Royal Rumble, or WrestleMania.
Maybe like a Drew McIntyre or something like that. Speaking of the castle thing, I know we're jumping all over the place.
That's all right.
I did a lot of the things coming out about that is, you know how it's like Drew versus Roman. Some people are believing that they're gonna somehow maybe even it might even be going on right now because SmackDown's on right now, but they might insert Karrion Kross into the match, and then somehow one of the belts are coming off Roman, and he won't even get pinned for it. So it makes him look strong, keeps him going strong for the maybe match with The Rock that everyone's clamoring for.
Yeah, because you can't. I mean, they did it before. They built up this main event match a year in advance with The Rock, with The Rock and John Cena.
But get one belt off of him.
But
now we get a belt on both shows again.
Yeah, now WrestleMania is 2 nights. I guess that's going to be a staple now.
But I mean, I can see why they'd want to get one of the belts off of him.
You got to build like 2 nights of like. Yeah. A main event, something.
But they wouldn't give it to Cross this early, right? It'd be cool. I'd like to see it. But,
hard to say now.
You give it back to Drew, right? Because he's like the proven star.
Either that or give it to Drew. You think Kevin Owens is going to get another run?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Because he was also a Triple H guy. Triple H loved him. But I don't think... I mean, honestly, the way I would book it... I mean, if I was, Triple H, which I'm a little bit more jacked, but... He's okay.
Oh, clearly.
He had a heart attack. I can kick his ass. Motherfucker got a pacemaker.
What if you don't again?
Well,
what if you lose to Meltzer and Triple H?
Well, no, Tony Khan.
And first. Tony Khan.
I can.
What if you like go from
fight 3 people at once?
No, what if you go from one to the other and be like, well, this one I can get. Well, this one I can get.
Remember the old Nintendo game Kung Fu where you got to go up the levels?
That game was fucking stupid.
What? I love that game.
No, the blade that goes back and forth.
That game was great.
It's hard as shit.
I loved that game. And the end boss was like, he looked like Mr. Clean. It's
right.
Fucking awesome. And the bees were really annoying.
The bees, why is it every... That's a whole fucking... Anyway.
So the first level of Kung Fu, I'll beat the shit out of Tony Khan. Second level, yeah, really Meltzer, I'll fuck him up. Now, Triple H, if he's, I don't know, maybe I can beat him up.
Unless he brings a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
Then you're fucked.
I'm fucked. He'll beat me. I'll put him over.
Oh, what the hell is it just talking about?
Well, we were talking about how there's a potential to get one of the belts off of Roman.
Oh, I don't remember where I was going with that, but I did have a point way before. Who's the one Samoan guy right now in NXT?
He's the younger brother of the twins.
Right.
I can't think of his name though.
Someone online gave the synopsis of what if Austin Theory. I think they involved the Money in the Bank thing. Austin Theory goes to cash in, and no, maybe it didn't have anything to do with Austin Theory.
Yeah, what did they do with that cash?
I don't know.
That's a good question.
That's good. Yeah, now that McMahon's gone, but the younger brother comes in, whatever his name is, and Jimmy and Jay turn on Roman, joining the younger brother, the younger member,
and make like a new
the Pride or whatever.
Bloodline.
Yeah, and then they said that would Roman reforms a Shield to have those two, because I guess Moxley. I've heard rumor Moxley wants out of AEW.
No,
I don't know.
He lets him do all of his deathmatch stuff. Like he in WWE would never let him do that.
No, and even with Triple H, maybe this is just fan theory idea, but so I don't know so much about the Shield thing. But then they have the Shield basically reunite and face this new bloodline or whatever you want to call it. Without the Shield, though. Just having whatever his name is come back and have the Usos turn against Roman and join him.
Who,
just
Ambrose?
No. The younger brother of.
Oh yeah.
If he comes back and the Usos join him.
Yeah.
To turn on Roman and basically like you're an old man.
Sounds like a Vince Russo booking. Swerve, bro.
It's gonna be a. It's going to be the head of the table on a pole match.
Yes. Yes. Sign me up.
Judy Bagwell on the pole match.
Sign me up.
So I saw that. I'm like, well, that'd be interesting. I'd like to see that.
I do want Cody to come back and actually fulfill that prophecy. What? What are you laughing at?
Fulfill.
This coming from you, who couldn't even speak the first 3.5 minutes of this whole thing.
That's gonna be normal. That's about every show.
Mr. Fat Tongue over here.
Phil Fulfill. I got stung by a bee.
My dog stepped on a bee.
Oh, jeez. What the hell happened? That's fucking something else. We already talked about comic books and shit.
He's actually falling asleep. We gotta probably wrap this up soon. What time is it? We've been going for about an hour.
I don't know.
All right, we out.
But,
we accomplished nothing, by the way.
Go back. I never fucking do. Going back to WrestleMania. Yeah, Logan Paul was. I didn't even know if that was a surprise, because he's an athlete.
Yeah, I don't know if I was that surprised either, to be honest with you.
I just know when you watch an athlete wrestle versus someone who is a good wrestler, I mean, there's a difference. Yeah. You can tell someone's like right,
Stephen Amell.
He's a good athlete.
The Green Arrow guy. Like, he was good. But
but he's not a wrestler.
Yeah.
Logan Paul looked like a wrestler.
He looked like an actual wrestler.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, he's bigger than these fucking guys.
Yes.
He looks like he looks like he should be in the Attitude Era.
Isn't that something like now, like a lot of wrestlers now? Look at Adam Cole.
I know, dude. Did he shrink?
Tiny fucking guy.
But did he shrink since NXT?
McMahon always had them on a regimen. It's like,
yeah.
Like, don't be a little fucking bitch.
Tony Khan.
Because there's nothing, and you know what? For everything McMahon's giving shit, like the steroid, multiple scandals, and everything else.
He ran a great ship.
He had a point.
Yeah.
Because no one's going to believe if someone like Adam Cole now goes out and be like, I'm going to face you, Goldberg, and then beat him. I don't fucking think so. I think
Adam Cole's probably like a little bit taller than me, but I think we both dwarf him in size.
Yeah.
In actual real life size.
He's tiny.
Like, he can't be more than 160 pounds.
No, he's tiny. And not taking anything away from his wrestling skill.
No, because honestly,
but just his physical,
he's phenomenal in the
He's not physically threatening.
And he's great on the mic. He's got literally everything you'd want except for size.
Yeah.
Literally all of it.
Even if it wasn't size, just definition.
He does have like that bad habit of trying to be a comedy guy, though. Like when he's around his dipshits. His buddies.
Yeah.
Like, because when he was in NXT and they were the... what's the name of the faction?
I know what you're talking about.
But anyway.
There's Kyle O'Reilly.
Yeah, they were a serious faction. It was believable.
Bobby Fish.
It was awesome. And then when he went over there, it was like he did comedy stuff.
Yeah, they like when he debuted, like didn't the Young Bucks kiss him on the cheek or something? Like right off the bat, you're like,
there is a place for comedy, you know, but
of course
not all the fucking
there was
time.
Triple H and the Rock, they could all do it. Stone Cold could do it. They could all do comedy.
But the way they did it, it was like off the cuff. It wasn't like nonstop goofy shit.
Yeah, it was every now and again.
It was like, what?
Yeah,
what? It was like that shit.
No, it's funny. Is Stone Cold? They asked Stone Cold, like, "Do you regret that?" Because 20 years later, now people are still interrupting. He's like, "No." The one I heard anyway. He was like, "No." He
can't believe it's still that much over.
I know, but it's such
his influence, man.
It's such a perfect thing for when the crowd just doesn't fucking care.
Yeah, yeah, and they're just gonna completely shit on you. It's hilarious.
There's some times when wrestlers can kind of get around it, but
if you're good, Paul Heyman eviscerates them every time.
Paul Heyman's on another level. He's beyond wrestling.
I think I will always say he's the greatest promo of all time, and I know that's like blasphemous to some people that want to say like Piper or Jake, or I think it's Paul Heyman. Here's
the question before we end this: you could develop your own wrestling organization.
Yeah.
Here's what you got to do. Who would be in any period of time, any organization, anything, even indies?
It doesn't matter like age or anything like that.
No, nothing.
If I can have them in their prime.
If you want a George Hackenschmidt, whatever.
Nice throwback.
Who would be your world champion? Who would be your mid-card champion? Who would be your tag champion? Who would be your owner? And who would be your commentator team?
All right, so tag team I'll try first.
All right.
I want to go to like...
We'll go back and forth here, so
like
I gotta think
the Hart
too.
Foundation comes to mind, but then so does the Midnight Express. But if... I'd be remiss not to say that I don't think that FTR is the best fucking tag team in the last 20 years. Those guys get it.
Wait. Before you go, I'll just go back and forth. So I'll give you my tag team.
So, like, can I just leave it at though? Like,
whoever you want to choose.
That'd be my top three in the division.
No, it's one tag team.
Oh, fuck.
Who would be your tag champions? You can't have three fucking teams to be your champion. And you could have, after that, that would be your, basically it's who would be running your ship.
Hart Foundation.
Hart Foundation?
Yeah. Oh, fuck Demolition. No, I'll go Hart Foundation.
I said Legion of Doom.
Well, it's how over were they?
Probably the loudest pops.
They were getting Hogan pops.
Maybe up until Stone Cold.
Any
and I think it would probably even rival them.
Anywhere Hogan wasn't, they were, and they were getting just as loud of a pop.
Yeah, the loudest.
But I'll probably go Hart Foundation because of the ability in the ring, and they were over too.
Right. Yeah.
Plus, I'm getting Bret Hart into my federation somehow.
All right. So next.
Well, what's the next? What do you want to do? Mid card.
World mid card owner and commentator team.
Mid card, I'll probably go with Shawn Michaels.
Good.
Because it's the best worker ever, best in ring performer. He's not going to let you down in the ring, and he's my favorite. So, got to get him in there.
Mid Carter, I would go. Oh boy, Razor Ramon.
Oh,
I was gonna choose Stone Cold Steve Austin because that was before he hurt his neck.
yeah.
But then I'm like,
How good was he? He was a technical guy back then.
Yeah.
Especially in WCW.
but I go Stone Cold, or I'll go with Razor Ramon, Scott Hall.
All right, what's next? What level do you want to do next?
I'll do
Like Booker?
your owner.
Is there owner versus Booker, or do we do one for each? Or because it's different. It is
No,
different.
we'll do owner. We need someone that's gonna steer the ship, so to speak, like you say.
See, I want to say Paul Heyman, but at the same time, we know his ownership.
Yeah.
But if I could have him,
That would be your booker.
that. Well, of course,
Right.
that's why I asked you. Can I have a Booker too? Because that would be Paul Heyman.
All right, booker and owner.
Can I have Paul Heyman somehow as a consultant?
There's your booker.
And now I need an owner.
Yeah, I need.
All right, cool. All right, perfect. I didn't
But at
know
the end of this, we're gonna have the whole fucking roster.
owner is really, really hard. It's not going to be Bill Watts. It's definitely not going to be Bischoff. Fuck, I mean, it's hard to say McMahon only because he doesn't believe in the philosophies that I believe in. I think I'm like an old spirit when it comes to wrestling. Like I liked it to feel real. You tell me your owner. I'd be interested to hear that. Tell me your booker and your owner. It's definitely not going to be Tony Khan.
No, because he's really proven himself just to be a kid version of McMahon. Like, not out of touch with wrestling, but he's just out of touch with
reality.
Yeah, everything else.
Yeah.
Where McMahon was in touch with
The business side. You know what?
and the females in it.
Owner? Triple H.
That's who I was kind of floating around.
There we go. I was trying to think of like the way I would want my company to be. Triple H is my owner.
Yeah.
And Paul Heyman's my booker.
Because what he did with NXT when he was in charge of it was...
Yeah.
I mean, that was the best thing in wrestling.
And it looks like he's going to be good now.
Yeah.
So you're going to take Triple H too as your owner?
Yeah.
Who's your booker?
Uh,
If you say Bruce Pritchard, I'm kicking you out of your own house.
it's like Dave Meltzer.
You know he's polarizing, but you know who I almost said for booker or owner? Cornette.
That's not a bad
Because
choice.
he's actually kind of a wrestling genius. He pisses a lot of people off.
I like that. I will say Cornette, now that you bring him up.
Yeah.
Just
why do you think
because
I almost picked Midnight?
Just because I would go with Paul Heyman as well.
Yeah.
But I think that would be a really good and close second. It was Jim Cornette.
I mean, Cornette was really on.
And he was in the beginning days of TNA, wasn't he?
Yep. He also got Ring of Honor back on its feet.
Yeah.
He's also responsible for the OVW booming
and the resurgence of NWA back in the 90s.
And he had Smoky Mountain that was popping.
And
that's why, honestly, that's why I mentioned Midnight.
Right.
Because of him. He's one of the greatest all-time managers.
Yeah.
You've got to put his name in the conversation for greatest managers.
All right. So commentating team and world champion. Last two. And your commentating team doesn't have to be an existing team. It can be an amalgamation.
I have to have Bobby the Brain. How many people we get put in two?
Because I could easily put three and it would be good.
Yeah.
But I think that would almost be a cop out and easy.
Yeah, it's just two.
Yeah.
I gotta have Bobby the Brain Heenan, and maybe that's where I put Cornette, because he was also really good at that.
Yeah, he was good at Cornette. He was good by play-by-play.
And now I got him onto my show, so now I've got all these great minds. You know what I mean? But I gotta have Bobby, dude. You've gotta have Bobby the Brain. He's the GOAT.
That is a good one.
And imagine those two, like, because Cornette's really smart. Oh, they both are, like, really quick and smart. Imagine that. That'd be fucking fun.
I think I would go... Yeah, I almost... See, it sucks because the two I'd really want are both heel commentators, so it wouldn't really feed off each other.
Just take Joey Styles and
just
no one else.
out of entertain, that would
He wasn't bad though.
No, he wasn't.
Really good. He was play-by-play and he could do color.
Just to see out of curiosity how it would play out, I would go with Jesse Ventura.
That's a good one.
And Bobby Heenan.
Great.
Because Gorilla Monsoon is awesome, and Gorilla Monsoon there for a while it was Jesse, Bobby, and Gorilla.
Because Gorilla was the conscience, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was the play-by-play, the good guy.
Yeah.
So him and Bobby were.
Him and Bobby were awesome.
I mean, come on,
awesome.
You can't fuck with that.
Oh, you know what? Too. You know what would have worked? Vince McMahon on commentary.
What a maneuver!
Because he was fucking hilarious on commentary.
I'm going
up to the top.
As you can see the way I'm doing mine, it's like scientific, technical. So that's why I take like the picks I pick her for a reason. Now world champion, huh? That's the hardest one for me. Because we're thinking like all time, right? Like anybody you could pick to really run and carry your show. But does it have to be like
anyone you want?
Does it have to be someone that was super over? Or does it matter?
It doesn't matter. If you wanted Gilbert as your world champion,
I don't.
Put him as the fucking world champion.
Mike Awesome, no. Although he was the most underrated. Man, do you have someone in mind for you?
I have three right off the bat.
Go ahead. Maybe it might stimulate me.
It's either Ric Flair, Stone Cold, or Hogan.
See, I kept my mind wouldn't leave Stone Cold.
Mine either, because he was really probably the most over top guy of all time.
And he could talk. He could do it all. I guess, I hate to say it, but it's probably my pick. You know what I mean?
Right. Probably. Ric Flair was awesome, but he was... To me, maybe it's just me, and there's a lot of Ric Flair marks out there, but to me, he was always like second... He's like the second-rate top guy. Awesome talker, awesome worker, but he just didn't have that, I'm this, like... upper stratosphere level of popularity.
If you take Stone Cold, I got my second one that I'll take, so we're not the same. So if you my second one, if you let me know who you're taking, I'll tell you either way.
I think it would have to be Stone Cold. You're right.
Yeah, it's hard not. My mind would not escape him. No. But if you're going to take him, then I'm going to take Macho Man.
That's a good one.
Yeah, because I feel like he did it all too, and he could also go heel on you.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stick with Macho Man.
And that's the one thing.
And it also goes along my whole philosophy too.
Even like that's the one thing Stone Cold didn't do well as heel.
Except for before he got big, when he was that cool heel against Bret Hart.
But that's the problem. His heel run made him popular.
Yeah, because he was cool as fuck.
The only thing I could say is...
He called him Bret the Shitman Hart?
Yeah. If you put the letter S in front of Hitman, you have my exact thought of... Yeah.
What?
The best he got after he was over as a heel was this comedic heel. And he pulled it off. And that was where the whole what thing... Him and Kurt Angle teaming up. And the fucking stupid little cowboy hat he got Kurt.
And another person that I would want to get on this my roster some way or another... is Mr. Perfect. So what's your X Factor? Like, that'll be my X Factor guy. If you get like a television champion or something, that'll be my Mr. Perfect. Because it's always fun to get that extra pick in.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Jeez Mr. Louise. Perfect didn't. And that does leave out a couple of guys I really love, like Daniel Bryan and Kurt Angle. But Mr. Perfect was those guys before those guys were those guys.
It's really like just as knowing all the wrestlers throughout time that we know.
Yeah, I know.
And how they operate is like who could work with the cartoon or superhero characters of the old days. And that's the problem is a lot of the new wrestlers now, I just don't see there.
Yeah, that's why you notice most of my
Bray Wyatt.
For your
Bray Wyatt could do it.
Nice. That's a nice pick.
Bray Wyatt could do it. I think that's really the only believable one. If you picked him up there, went back 25 years, 30 years, dropped him off, and be like, that could work. They had fucking Papa Shango.
So now, before we finish up, think about our guys versus each other's guys. We got Macho Man versus Stone Cold. That's fucking fantastic.
That could work.
We've got Bray Wyatt versus Mr. Perfect. That would be
That might work.
That might be a lot of fun.
That could either be just a dud or that might work, depending on how the program would work, like months prior to the event. Like
Bret, the Hart Foundation versus the Road Warriors. That'd be fun. I think they might have
they've probably done that a few times, but that would be fun.
That'd be a lot of fun.
Because that would be just this brutal, hard-hitting team versus this like masterful technical team.
And Shawn Michaels versus
Razor Ramon, which they've done that fucking
hey, you know which is gold. They've already had 5-star matches.
Yeah, so that's gold. Fuck, man. You know what's upsetting? We're never going to see this pay-per-view.
What do they say? We just booked the territory. Book this show, baby. Peace.
Makes me sad. What?